Good evening and welcome to Ignite News on 6 at 6. It's Wednesday, November 26, 2025. I'm Rihanna Nikram. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Ghana has welcomed the 5th British trade mission, noting the country is open to deepening UK trade ties. China has offered Ghana technical support to boost crop production through new technologies, training, and deeper agricultural cooperation. Officials are using the 16 days of activism to urge stronger community responsibility and remind survivors of the options and support available to them. And a young teacher who survived the quarantine school trip crash says her recovery will be long as she urges action to stop animals from roaming the roadway. Ghana is looking to boost economic growth by strengthening trade ties with the United Kingdom. That's according to the Minister with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, who spoke at the opening of the 5th British trade mission to Guyana. He said previous missions have produced real results, with about 40% of visiting UK companies securing partnerships or commercial deals. Singh welcomed the delegation, including the new UK trade envoy to the Commonwealth Caribbean, Paulette Hamilton, and praised the work of British High Commissioner Jane Miller. Singh stressed that the government remains focused on building a diversified and resilient economy. Other speakers included officials from the British High Commission, the Caribbean Council, and the UK's Department for Business and Trade. According to the latest UK trade figures, the relationship between the two countries is growing, with a total UK-Ghana trade reaching £1.6 billion between January and June 2025. Exports during the period stood at £883 million and imports at £679 million. As at the end of 2023, UK investment in Guyana had climbed to £46 million. Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat has wrapped up a series of high-level engagements at Gov't in Belém, strengthening Ghana's role as a global leader in forest finance, jurisdictional RED+, and a fair science-driven energy transition. Delivering Ghana's national statement, Bharat built on President Ali's earlier message, stressing developing countries need practical financing, technology, and cooperation, not just commitments, if they are to meet climate goals. He co-chaired the Forest and Climate Leaders Partnership meeting with the United Kingdom, welcoming new members and calling for predictable, long-term forest financing that supports development. Bharat also highlighted advancing on the Forest Finance Roadmap, crafted with Brazil and UNEP, which promotes solutions such as scaling up high-integrity RED+ credits and advancing Brazil's Tropical Forest Forever facility. Throughout COP30, Bharat championed Ghana's pioneering Art-Trees credits and the benefits flowing to indigenous communities, while reaffirming the country's balanced energy transition under the LCDS 2030. He said Ghana's direction is clear and the world must act with urgency. China has offered technical support to Ghana in cultivating dragon fruit, bamboo, Chinese grass, and other fruits and vegetables, the Ministry of Agriculture said on Tuesday. The offer came during a courtesy call by Bruce Lee, head of Economic Commercial Consular at the Chinese Embassy in Guyana, and Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa at his Regent Street office. Discussions focused on strengthening economic cooperation, including rice cultivation and other agricultural crops. Lee also proposed study tours in various agricultural fields for Guyanese students in 2026 to enhance technical expertise. Mustafa said Ghana could benefit from China's advanced rice cultivating technologies, particularly in improving salt tolerance and yields. He noted the long-standing bilateral relationships and expressed hope for continued collaboration in the agricultural sector. The minister was joined by Director General of the Ministry of Agriculture, Danishwar Dirna. The Ghana Geology and Mines Commission, GGMC, says it will ramp up enforcement across the mining sector, following directives from President Irfan Ali to clamp down on breaches of national regulations. In a statement, the GGMC stressed that mining laws apply in every part of the country, including Amerindian title villages. It said communities that want mining as an economic activity must follow the same rules as all other operators. The Commission noted it stands ready to help villages and miners secure the required permits, register equipment, and use proper systems to record gold production. It also reminded operators that all gold must be sold to authorized buyers, such as the Ghana Gold Board, licensed dealers, or traders. Off-book sales, it warned, are illegal and could lead to seizure and charges. With gold prices high but declarations reportedly low, the GGMC said it will work closely with other state agencies to curb lawlessness and ensure operators meet environmental, safety, and reporting standards. When returned, Ghana observed 16 days of activism, 7 new immersive tourism experiences launched, and a young teacher is pleading for action after a deadly quarantine crash.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyana Guy Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive!
Welcome back. Officials are urging survivors of domestic violence to seek help and access key protections during this year's 16 Days of Activism. As the 16 Days of Activism campaign moves forward across the country, government officials are renewing their call for women affected by violence to seek help and reminding them of the legal protections available. The campaign, which began on yesterday, November 25th, highlights violence against women as one of the most persistent human rights violations worldwide. Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Priya Manak-Chan, noted that in addition to applying for a protection order, women can also request an occupation order, allowing them to stay in their home while the perpetrator is removed.
You can get an order for maintenance, temporary order for maintenance for you and your children. You can get a temporary order for custody for your children. So there are very many, because I know a lot of people are very worried, well, if I leave, I gotta leave my kids with him, and this is his house or the tenancy's in his name, which means I'll be on the street. That's not necessarily true. There are many remedies that you can pursue and that the court system would allow you to pursue.
Meanwhile, Minister of Human Services and Social Security, Dr. Berbice, urged all Guyanese to take part in ending violence against women. She said the country must confront its long-standing culture of violence by treating prevention and intervention as shared responsibilities.
I would not say it is only up to men and boys, but I will start with the way boys are raised in their homes. There are a lot of single homes, single fathers, single mothers, and I will share on both ends of the spectrum. Mothers need to raise their sons the way they would have liked to see an adult in their life evolve and be that positive, constructive, respectful, sensitive, cultured person. You have to raise your boys like that. You also have to raise your daughters to be the same way, to think of themselves as not inferior, worthless, lacking in some way.
Dr. Prasad added that making the ministry services more visible is essential, not only for survivors seeking help, but also as a sign of the government's wider commitment to ending violence against women, men, and children. She stressed that while the annual observance draws attention, the real work happens every day and must be grounded in strong, ongoing community involvement. Guyana has unveiled 7 new immersive tourism experiences as part of its push to expand experiential travel and strengthen the fast-growing sector. The offerings, unveiled during a Tourism Awareness Month showcase at the Arthur Chung Conference Center, highlight food, culture, nature, and adventure. Tourism Minister Susan Rodriguez said the new products reflect the government's plan to make tourism a major economic pillar while supporting small businesses and operators nationwide.
All of us here, all of our stakeholders have to recognize that with everything there is a time. There is a window of opportunity, and we have to make the most of it at that time. And so in the next 5 years, we will be ensuring, and I can speak on behalf of the government of Guyana, that we grow and build the tourism sector so that it is sustainable and that it becomes a major contributor to our economy. We would like to do it with all of you here.
The Guyana Tourism Authority says the new experiences build on a rapidly growing portfolio of visitor-ready products, more than 70 of which have been introduced since 2020. Director Cameron Baksh noted that the number of licensed tour operators has doubled in recent years, and that the newest generation of operators is driving innovation across the sector.
The new crop of operators have really been quite innovative. They have pursued trendy products. These tour operators are going to showcase and demonstrate our product in a very unique and creative way. And that's important. And the Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, as well as the Guyana Tourism Authority, we keep on supporting any operator, licensed operators, that have ideas about packaging these experiences.
The event also saw the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between Wanderlust Adventures GY and the Carnegie School of Home Economics to strengthen culinary tourism and expand training. Officials say momentum continues to build as travelers seek authentic cultural, culinary, and nature-based experiences. The new products are rolling out immediately, giving both local and international visitors fresh ways to explore Guyana. 20-year-old Jaden Hart of number 43 Village, a teacher attached to Central Quarantine Secondary School, is still struggling to cope physically and emotionally after surviving the horrific accident at number 63 Village that claimed the lives of 2 people, including a student. The minibus transporting students and teachers from various schools last Sunday toppled multiple times along the Quarantine Highway after the driver attempted to avoid horses that had run into the road. Hart, who was seated in the front passenger seat, was thrown through the windscreen during the tragic incident. She recalled marking the register before joining the bus to ensure all the girls were accounted for before they left.
On our way coming, I remember my charger, it was keep falling down in front and it wasn't staying up, and I'm wondering why. So I bent down. I don't remember everything, but this is what I remember. And one of the person who were conscious told me we were gearing up to overtake 2 vehicles. And while we were gearing up, someone chased 3 big cars in front of us.
With animals suddenly in their path, the driver pulled the handbrake and attempted to swerve.
I couldn't take control of the bus, but it was too late. And we began to flip and flip. Like I could recall 7 times. Everybody kept seven times. And I passed through the front window, the front windshield, while others passed through different windows. And I'm on the ground, unconscious. And I remember someone running to me with water and woke me up. And when I caught myself, the first person I ran to was Jodia, the victim that died.
She then turned her attention to the driver, Sir Jerome.
I remember him, I think he was still somewhat pinned down. And I kept screaming for help, and nobody was helping. They were just jumping us and videoing. And he was there right next to her, bleeding out. And then I think 2 individuals got him out and placed him beside of the road. And the condition that I saw him, I knew in my heart he wouldn't have made it.
Hart said the accident has heightened her fear of animals on the roadway, a long-standing issue on the quarantine stretch.
I really feel like we need to put precautions in place to keep them off the roadway, because with what has transpired, a lot more could have passed because of said animals.
Sitting beside the driver who did not survive has left Hart grappling with difficult emotions. She says her healing journey will be long, but she hopes sharing her story brings awareness and change to prevent future tragedies. A Berbice family is traumatized following a robbery on Monday. Swartuti Sichuran, a vendor at the Rose Hall Tong Market, said one of the robbers was masked and armed with a handgun. According to Sichuran, the men confronted her inside the kitchen.
Pull the fridge door to take out the callaloo. I hear somebody say nobody in holla, right? So when I turn around, 2 men, one get on mask and one in get on mask, and then don't approach inside. And the one with the mask run come to my son from this chair corner here, and the one without the mask got to me in the kitchen.
Fearing for her life and her children's safety, Sichuan told him that her earnings were in a black bag inside her bedroom. One of the men held a gun to her back and forced her to lead him there. He emptied the bag and removed money she had tucked in her apron.
He said, "What the money there, why you get?" So I said, me sell a little bit money. And my money there inside the room, in my bag, on the barrel. And he said, "Show me where the money there." So he put the gun on my back, and I go in the room. And I take out my black bag, and my money went in the apron. And he throw the money, they open the bag, and he throw the money. And he take out the money that went in the apron. And he said, "What the rest money?" And I said, "We don't get more money, this is all we get."
In the chaos, the second bandit threw a bottle at the concrete post inside the house, injuring her daughter. The thieves escaped with $385,000, money Sichuan had set aside to pay overdue installments to BM Soat and iPad. The family had been saving from weekend sales and was preparing to settle the 2 loan payments. Before fleeing through the back door, the men even asked how to get out of the house. Once they ran off, Sichuan's son quickly locked the door again. Her husband, who was not home during the attack, arrived just as police responded. The family says this is not the first time they have been targeted. When we come back, Team Guyana heads to Mexico. South Africa hands India a historic defeat And the top U.S. general's visit to Trinidad and Tobago is raising questions.
Your business is built on hard work, vision, and the drive to succeed. At GBTI, we understand what it takes to grow. That's why we offer Grow, a small business service designed to help your business expand, adapt, and reach its full potential. From new opportunities to new milestones, we're here to support you every step of the way. Grow from GBTI. Progress starts here.
You're watching Night News on 6 at 6. Thanks for staying with us. Ghana's basketball team heads to Mexico for the 2025 FIBA 3x3 AmeriCup. With the squad already selected and the team set to depart today, Vice President of the Ghana Basketball Federation, Roel Tony, has indicated that the team is ready for the 2 qualifying games on Thursday.
So we take great pride in seeing our team being represented. We will play Jamaica and St. Lucia starting from 5 p.m. on Thursday. And that is the qualifying round. And from that, only the top team from that group will advance to the main draw. We've made the main draw in the 2022 tournament when we had Nikolai Smith, Sharai Thomas, Delroy James, and Gordon James, the James brothers. And we missed out on the quarterfinal just by 1 point. We lost in overtime, I think, to Chile. But nonetheless, we are looking forward to representing Guyana.
Tony did indicate that the road to success in the tournament will not be easy.
I know it's going to be a tall ask. Given the limited amount of time the guys would have had to play together at various tournaments. Boville played in Guyana, but he didn't play with, Harold Adams and Nikolai Smith. Usually in 3x3 tournaments in Guyana, Harold Adams, Nikolai Smith, and Travis Belgrave, they are on the same team, Team Renegade. And then Boville would have played on another team in the tournament we've had in Guyana this year. So we're looking forward to their performances. The Basketball Federation wishes them well.
The team comprises Harold Adams, Nikolai Smith, Travis Belgrave, and Daylon Boville. Ghana will face Jamaica and St. Lucia in the qualifying round on Thursday. South Africa wrapped up a dominant 2-0 series sweep over India with a record 408-run win in the second test in Gov't. It is India's heaviest defeat by runs. The result also gives the Proteas their first test series win in India since 2000. India, meanwhile, have now lost 2 home series in 2 years after a 12-year unbeaten streak. South Africa set a target of 549 after declaring on 260 for 5. India were bowled out for 140 on the final day, with Ravindra Jadeja top scoring on 54. Spinner Simon Harmer took 6 wickets and Aidan Markham grabbed a record 9 catches. The victory extends South Africa's strong run as World Test champions. They have won 11 of 12 tests under captain Themba Babuva. The Proteas stay second in the World Test standings, while India dropped to 5th. Former Olympic athletics coach Jose Vicente Leva Modal, 65, has pleaded not guilty to 19 charges linked to the alleged rape and sexual assault of a child. At Manchester Crown Court, Leva Modal, formerly married to Olympic runner Diane Modal, and also known as Vincent Modal, denied multiple counts including rape, assault by penetration, sexual assault, and coercive or controlling behavior. The BBC reports that the allegations involve one female complainant and span 2012 to 2024. Her identity is protected by law. Judge Nicholas Dean, King Counsel, granted bail, but raised concern that the earliest trial date is September 4, 2028, calling the delay unacceptable but unavoidable. Leva Modal will return to court for a pre-trial hearing on June 8. In the region, U.S. Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane held a nearly 2-hour closed-door meeting with Prime Minister Kalma Prasad Biseswar yesterday, Tuesday, with transnational crime and regional security topping the agenda. Both sides described the talk as excellent, highlighting cooperation against illicit narcotics and other cross-border threats. But the high-level nature of the visit, announced just a day prior and coming amid U.S. military activity in the Southern Caribbean, prompted questions at home. Opposition figures and a former military commander called for transparency, arguing that the President of America's most senior military officer suggested broader strategic concerns. The visit followed Kane's stop in Puerto Rico and came shortly after Washington labeled Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro a member of the cartel de los Sols. Analysts say TNT's geographic position places it in the middle of sensitive U.S.-Venezuelan tensions, making clarity crucial as speculation swirls about the purpose behind the sudden trip. In international news, the Trump administration is once again seeking to end humanitarian protection for Haitians in the United States. A federal notice published today, Wednesday, says temporary protected status, or TPS, will expire on February 3rd, affecting more than 350,000 Haitians. The decision comes despite escalating violence in Haiti, where over 1 million people have been displaced. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem ruled that Haiti no longer faces extraordinary and temporary conditions that would prevent returns. The move aligns with the administration's broader effort to restrict both legal and illegal immigration. As a candidate in 2024, Donald Trump repeatedly targeted Haitian migrants with false claims. The Biden administration has extended TPS through 2026, citing severe political instability, gang violence, and a lack of functioning government. A judge also blocked an earlier attempt to end the program, saying the harm to Haitian families outweigh any impact on the U.S. government. Haiti's humanitarian crisis remains severe. 1.4 million people are displaced, and UNICEF says more than 6 million need urgent assistance. Finally, this evening, South Korea has launched its largest satellite to date using its nationally developed Nuri rocket. This marks the fourth of 6 planned launches through 2027. The 3-stage rocket lifted off from a spaceport on an island of Gov't in the southwest of the country. Aerospace officials are monitoring whether it will successfully place a 516-kilogram SINE satellite and 12 smaller microsatellites into orbit. The main satellite, which will orbit 600 kilometers above Earth, carries a wide-range airglow camera to observe auroras, systems to measure plasma and magnetic fields, and equipment to test life science experiments in space. The dozen smaller cube satellites were developed by universities and research institutions. They include GPS systems to study the atmosphere, infrared cameras to track plastic in the oceans, and instruments to test solar cells and communications technologies. This launch is South Korea's first Nuri rocket flight since May 2023 and the fourth overall since the program began in 2021. And that's all for this edition of Ignite News on 6 at 6. For more stories, visit ignitenews.com or follow us on social media. Thanks for watching. I'm Rihanna Nakram. See you tomorrow for more Ignite News.